Well, fans of heavy metal music know Eric Adams as the incredible singer for the band Manowar, but there's another side to Eric that is now coming to the forefront, and we need to promote that. Please welcome Eric Adams to the program. Hey, Eric, how are you?
Hey, brother, I'm doing great. How's things out there in Chicago?
Things are doing well out here in the Midwest. We are enjoying, of course, the beginning of deer season, and I know that's very important to you.
Oh, it's big time important to me, man. It starts here for us October 14th. Bow season does anyway, and that's what I live for, man. You know, I'm a master bow hunting instructor, and here in New York, and I just absolutely love getting out there in the woods. You know, get away from the pavement for a while, and get up in a tree stand and just watch nature wake up every morning. I just love it, man.
It's the best thing there is. People are saying, well, wait a second, Manowar, that's those guys in heavy metal. He actually craves the wonderment of the quiet in the woods. Is it a great way for you to recharge your batteries after a tour or after recording?
Yeah, it really is. Usually after a tour, that's when I want to get out in the woods because, you know, Manowar is the loudest band in the world, brother.
Yes, indeed.
I need that solitude. Right. Actually, when I'm up in the tree stand, I can still hear the band playing.
your ears are still ringing, right? So
ears are still ringing.
A little downtime, you get back to participate in nature, and the DVD that you have out now with your friend Chester Moore, who's a great just outdoor expert from Texas, Wildlife and Wild Times, and it really is over an hour and a half of incredible camaraderie, adventure, and really you show the fun and the excitement. You really bring it to the forefront of this DVD. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you dug it, and I hope everyone else who gets it really likes it. I know we released it in Europe earlier, and people are going crazy over there, and it's it's something where they see me, you know, and what I do when I'm off tour, and they see Chester, and Chester came out to Europe with me and helped promote this out in Europe during one of the Manowar tours. And I got to tell you, you know, he's a very, very knowledgeable dude, and this guy really knows, you know, any species of animal. You see on the DVD, we cover, you know, it's not just deer, it's not just wild hogs, it's not just, fishing. It's a group of all these different animals that we use, and try to cover a big gamma of wildlife. And I think we did a pretty good job of it, and people really dig it, and that's what it's all about.
So many shows that are out there are just worried about selling you a product or bragging about the size of antlers, and I think that's so detrimental to our cause. Whereas guys like yourself and Chester Moore are just two buddies out there having a blast. Now, you are educating people who are new to the sport, but It's all about the excitement, and it's all about selling the experience. And I think that's really needed. With you on board, and, of course, with Ted Nugent at the forefront fighting for hunting and gun rights, we need to get more celebrities. Can you promise me, as you got to have other friends in the business that hunt and fish?
I actually do. Actually, when we decided to do Wildlife and Wild Times, I was going to get a bunch of rockers together that I know that do this, and love hunting and fishing so much. But it ended up being it was too hard to get all our schedules together. If I was home, being able to get out there in the field, other guys couldn't make it because they'd be out on tour. And what can I tell you? It's just the way it goes sometimes. And, we always call each other up and say, "Listen, are you here?" Chris Caffrey, for instance, from Sabotage. He calls me once in a while and says, "Man, I'm in New York. Can we get together?" And I said, "I can't. I'm in the studio," or that kind of thing. But originally, it was going to be something like that, and it ended up being just like you said, two guys out there having a good time, and we wanted it to look like what 90% of your other hunters are out there, your listeners are out there. And those guys are just people that get out there, go home from work, they get out there on a weekend or after work, and they try to have a good time. And if a nice 8-point basket rack comes in and they haven't had any venison yet, they're going to fill their freezer. And that's basically what we try to do. We try to say, listen, we're not after the big, huge animals, although you do see them on that DVD.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah, that big hog I took was a 450-pound hog. That was a big monster. But,
is hog hunting the best or what?
Oh, my God, it's a ball.
Yeah.
It is a ball. I told Chester, he introduced me to this, and he said, "What do you want to do next?" I said, "I want to stay on these hogs." Are you kidding?
Yeah.
It was great. And what's good about it, Mike, what's real good about it, if you ever want to hunt down in Texas, I'll hook you up.
You know what? I'll take you up on that. There's no doubt
I'll
about
hook you
that.
up. Yep, Chester, we've got this spot down there that, the hogs are just, every step you take, you hear them all over the place.
Yeah, well,
it's just a blast.
They're epidemic down there, man. There's so many hogs that farmers are like, oh, keep shooting them. They breed like rabbits. And,
yeah, they really do, and they ruin the area. And what's exciting about hunting a hog is that they hunt you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they.
That's pretty exciting when you're there with a stick and a string. I mean,
Yeah, I was just out in Michigan at Ted's place a couple weeks ago. I had a wild Russian boar that I was trying to get up on, and it kept turning around and popping those and they won't move. They're like, come on, bring it on, pal, bring it on. And so after a 2.5-hour stalk, I finally, it worked out in my favor. But there were times when I was like, man, this is going to turn into a fight, and I'm going to lose, That's the problem.
You got to make sure you got a tree next to you, brother. That's all.
You know what? We get to see that on Wildlife and Wild Times, and you can go to wildlifeandwildtimes.com, read all about it, and then order it. The energy is contagious, and I think that's the part that really stuck out for me.
Yeah, that's great, man. I'm glad you dug it. I really am.
I am, and I want people to get it. Now, let me ask you, here's Eric Adams. You've been touring with Manowar, one of the greatest heavy metal bands of all time. You've toured the world. You're a rock star, but you still find the need or the calling, it might be a better term, to become an instructor for the DNR of upstate New York. What made you do that?
Well, I'll tell you, we have a shortage here of instructors, and if somebody's looking for a bow class, by the time it's advertised, it's already full. And I found that to be the case with a friend of mine, and I says, this is ridiculous. I'll say, I'll find one for you. And I called up friends of mine that I knew were instructors, and they said, geez, I'm sorry, Eric, my class is full. I said, well, this is crazy. I said, and they agreed. And they said, it is crazy. You want to be an instructor? And I thought, well, you know what? When I'm home, I have a lot of off time. I've got some free time, and yeah, I'll be an instructor. And that ended up, being, getting more and more involved in it. And then I ended up being a master instructor for, teaching instructors on how to teach these kids and on how to bow hunt and be safe out there in the woods. That's my biggest thing is safety and ethics. And I try to really push that along on the DVD that, you have to have strong, high ethics to hunt in the wild and make sure that people know you as being a responsible person, a responsible hunter. And sometimes hunters, come off to be the type of people that, landowners don't want on their property, and that's what we're trying to avoid. And I think by coming off as being a responsible, ethical person, you let them know that, hey, man, we're out there, and it's an ethical hunt, and we're not out there to wound the animals. We know where to shoot and how to put them down within seconds. It's a very humane, ethical hunt, and that's what we're after.
Oh, right on. When I talk to people who are new to the sport, I always tell them, you can get hooked on the thrill of the chase real easy. The reward of the kill is wonderful, but it's the reverence and the utilization of the harvest. It's the full spectrum of emotion. Can't get that at the mall. You can't get it hanging out playing video games. And so I think it's really commendable, Eric, that a man in your situation is recruiting people. Now, do we have a TV show in the works, or is this going to be a continual DVD series?
Well, the TV show is being talked about now. My biggest problem, Mike, is that when I'm on tour, I obviously can't get out there and do any hunting. And,
right.
So it's real tough to get out there with a cameraman every time and hunt and expect to get enough footage for a TV show. But there is talk about it, so we're certainly not going to throw that out the window. And Chester and I are working on another DVD. So it's a lot of fun to do, and like I say, it's the average person, the average hunter out there, and that's the life of an average hunter. That's what he's going to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's great.
Stuff.
That's what it's all about.
Wildlife and Wild Times. Wildlifeandwildtimes.com is the website you want to go to. You want to learn more about Eric Adams. You want to learn more about Chester Moore, because these are two guys that are doing it the right way. I have to commend you on a great production. And listen, man, I'm going to call you on the carpet right now and make you definitely promise that you and I are going to share a campfire.
We will do this. Hey, I'm going to tell you what, after we get off the line here, you get back to me, all right? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to give you my personal information, Mike, okay?
Yeah. Come to Illinois. I know upstate New Yorkers. I know how you New Yorkers are. Yeah. You're going to brag until you come here, and you're going to see deer that your eyes are going to fall out of your head. So you let me know when you're coming through. We have the king of, you may be the king of metal. We are the king of bucks. All right, Eric?
I read about it all the time, man.
I know you do. Well, keep flinging those arrows. Keep making great music. And wildlife and wild times, what a great piece of entertainment for those of us who crave the great outdoors. Eric Adams, thank you so much, my man.
All right, thanks, brother.